What is up, fellas? We are back for another UFC predictions video. This time for UFC 316, Dvalishvili versus O'Malley 2. Um, Recorded this video yesterday. Uh, Recorded about 45 minutes of footage, over a gigabyte of footage. Posted it, made the thumbnail, watched it back, no audio. So I was just like, dude, this is coming out a day late. Um, So yeah, it's coming out on Wednesday. So sorry about that. I say too much, bro. If you're new, subscribe. We're gonna jump right into the card. We're gonna jump right into Tapology. We've been doing great. We've been doing good on picks for like the last 8 weeks or something. We've been doing good. Um, I gotta stop doing that. Let's jump right in. Kicking us off at lightweight, Markel Medeiros is taking on Mark Choinsky. Uh, Markel Medeiros was scheduled to fight last weekend, but I believe he pulled out. He was originally supposed to fight Balaji Oki, in a fight. I might have picked him in. I'm not too sure, but he pulled out of that fight for some reason and got rescheduled for this weekend. And Mark Choinsky, he's okay. He's not great. This is a hard fight for him because Markel Medeiros is pretty good. He's a pretty surgical striker. He's quite the technician, and he's kind of got his UFC jitters out. He fought at the UFC Fight Night in Mexico City 2 months ago against Austin Hubbard at Elevation, and Austin Hubbard's a hard guy to fight. He's pretty good. He's pretty well rounded. And he can push a hard pace. So at Elevation, I was a little bit worried about Markel Medeiros. And he looked pretty good there. There was moments where his fight IQ, I think, looked very questionable, but so did Austin Hubbard's. And in the end, he ended up getting a win over a pretty seasoned guy. And that's kind of what I think is Choinsky's biggest downfall. Is he really doesn't have that much experience. I think he's a step behind in the stand up. And I don't think Marco Medeiros is a fish in the striking. So I'm going to go with Marco Medeiros here as a pretty sizable favorite. I think he can win this fight probably. I think he could get a TKO, but more than likely not. Probably a decision. Yeah, a lot of people are leaning decision with Medeiros. I kind of tend to agree there. Keeping it at lightweight, Quillen Salkiel taking on Yanal Ashmuz. Oh my god. Okay. I didn't mean to see the line there, but Jesus. Quillen Salkill should not be minus 500 over Yanal Ashmuz. Ashmuz is actually pretty good. There's a lot of people riding the Quillen Salkill hype for some reason after he knocked out. God, dude, my brain is scattered, bro. After he knocked out Enshul Jubilee. Unfortunately, Quillen Salkill did in fact redeem it. But Yanal Ashmuz is good, bro. And I like Anshul Ghibli's all right. Like, he's not that bad. So knocking him out like that's, I guess, pretty impressive because I don't think he's an absolute schmuck with no skill. But Shmooze knocked out Sam Patterson, and Sam Patterson's really good. Sam Patterson's terrorizing people at welterweight. Then he lost to Chris Duncan in a fight where Ashmuz broke his arm pretty early in that fight and still hung tough to a decision. And Chris Duncan's not bad. Then he beats Trevor Peek. Like, Ashmuz isn't bad. He's not plus 400 to Quillen Salkild, who's got one UFC fight. You know, and Shmooze hits really hard too. But Quillen Salkill's good. He's good all around, I think. I think he's got a grappling edge here. If he wants to use that, I think he probably should. He's a bigger, longer guy. I think his striking's been coming along pretty well. But he is not, he's not Superman. You know what I mean? He shouldn't be lined this against a guy like Ashmuz, who's got 3 fights in the UFC against. I mean, Trevor Peek's not the greatest fighter in the world, but he's a tough son of a bitch. And Chris Duncan and St. Patterson are both good. Like, he has 2 good wins, or well, 1 good win, 1 loss to a good fighter. But I'm gonna go with Quillen Salkild. I think he should be maybe, if I were lining this, like maybe minus 185. Honestly, I think he's more well-rounded. I think he can utilize the 7-inch reach advantage. I think he can win this fight by decision. But I think there could be a moment, like a 29-28 decision. I think Ashmuz can have moments against Quillen Salkild. I don't know why he's lying like this. There must be, Yanal Ashmuz must have AIDS or something going into this fight because I have no idea why he's lying plus 400. That's crazy. He's only 30. I don't know, man. I'm going with Quillen Salkild by decision. More well-rounded skill set. I like his straight punches more than Ashmuz, who's a guy who kind of loops his shots. It's going to be hard to find a big looping shot with a 7-inch reach disadvantage. Can he do it? Yeah, he's able to find one on Sam Patterson. But I'm going with Quillen Salkild by decision. Moving up to featherweight. Ju Sang Yu taking on Jekka Sergi. I don't even need to see the line here. Yeah. Like, this is a fight that is lined similarly, but it's Yanal Ashmuz at the same line as Jekka Sergi. That's so weird to me. I'm going with Ju Sang Yu. I think he's all right. He's looks good lately against some decent comp. I think his striking is pretty decent. It's better than Jekka Sergi's. He doesn't have the power. That's what the one thing Jekka Sergi has is he's got really nice power. He can put out Lucas Alexander. It kind of a fluky knockout, but he knocked him out, so it still fucking counts. Lost to Anshul Jubilee by TKO. Not a great look. And then lost to Weston Wilson. That's a horrible look. That's about as bad of a look as you could get. Ju Sang Yu, unseasoned, not a guy who's fought in the Contender Series or anything. But you can see here, he's beating like guys with okay records here. Then it kind of gets ugly. But, you know, these fights were 2 years ago. That would have made him in his 20s with like 5 professional fights. So yeah, he's probably fighting cans. I also think Ju Sang Yu here has a clear grappling upside. He's got some okay grappling, and I think okay grappling is all you need to take down and hold down Jekka Sergi. But I also think he can knock him out on the feet too. Ju Sang Yu's a pretty decent striker. The only way I see this fight going Jekka Sergi's way is if he lands a big shot and knocks him out, which I think is it's possible. Obviously, it's MMA, but it's a really low percent chance in my opinion. I got to go with Ju Sang Yu here. And plus, I've seen Jekka Sergi knocked out too, so I'm gonna go with Ju Sang Yu. I think he wins this fight by finish. I think he could get a submission, but I feel like he'll probably opt to strike, and I feel like he'll probably finish Jekka Sergi on the feet, barring something insane happening. Moving to women's flyweight, Ariane Lipski da Silva taking on Kong Wang. Guys, I'm going with Kong Wang. I think she's just actually kind of good. Ariane Lipski's not bad, but like Kong Wang's like a good fighter. She's got great kickboxing. She's got good power for women's flyweight. Her grappling defense is pretty good. She had the one loss against Gabriela Fernandez, but I think Gabriela Fernandez honestly probably hits a little bit harder than Ariane. Uh, and also, I think she's a little bit more physical frame wise. And honestly, Kong Wang was coasting in this fight too much. She was kind of emoting. She wasn't really taking this fight seriously. Then she got caught by the head kick and caught with a follow up shot. And then, she couldn't defend the choke because she got her bell rung a little bit and ended up losing there. I don't see I don't see Ariane Lipski being able to do that. I think Kong Wang wins this fight. I think she's a much better striker. I don't think Ariane Lipski could get the grappling going even if she wanted to. I think she's just going to be outgunned on the feet, just outright. I'm going to go with Kong Wang. I don't know if she knocks her out, but I'm going to say she wins by decision probably. Seems to be what a lot of people think. Yeah, I'm going with Kong Wang by decision here. She's just a level above in the kickboxing, and her grappling defense isn't too bad, and she's got pretty legit power. I gotta go with Kong Wang. Moving up to welterweight, Chaos Williams taking on Andreas Gustafsson, another guy who's supposed to fight last weekend. Unfortunately for him, unlike Markel Medeiros, he got a much harder matchup for his style. I was gonna pick Andreas Gustafsson against Trevin Giles. I can't. I like Andreas Gustafsson too. I like his style, but I gotta go with Chaos Williams here, bro. There's a lot of things going against Gustafsson here in this matchup. Last weekend he would get to fight in the small cage, which I think benefits a guy like him who's big, strong, and he kind of bullies people up against the cage, gets that clinch and starts working from there, elbows, dirty boxing, things like that. He could be really effective. He can wear down a guy, especially in that smaller cage, especially a guy like Trevin Giles who doesn't have that one punch power to get him off. Trying to pressure Chaos Williams and engage in like a dirty boxing fight, I just see him getting caught on the feet. And I've seen Andreas Gustafsson get caught and wobbled. I see him getting put out here. I just think Chaos Williams has too much power for Andreas Gustafsson to really close the gap. Uh, and implement that pressure style that he has. Especially because Gustafson's a big guy. He relies on a lot of physicality and strength. Chaos Williams is a pretty big, strong dude. He's going to be hard to fucking muscle fuck around. I know your nickname is Bane, which is kind of tough, but I just think this is a rougher matchup. I think he kind of got screwed here, to be honest. Could Gustafson do it? Sure. I hope he does. I like Andreas Gustafson. He's cool, but I think Chaos Williams is gonna fucking chin him. If I'm being honest, he's got a reach advantage too. I just see Andreas Gustafsson wading into range and getting cracked by a big shot, and if you get cracked by a big shot from Chaos Williams, you probably won't recover. Now, granted, Chaos Williams hasn't looked the greatest as of late. Now, Gabriel Bonfim destroyed him. Carlston Harris, good win. Rolando Bedoya, this was a shit performance. He looked awful. Made people think Rolando Bedoya was good. Randy Brown split decision loss, not the worst thing in the world, but that's 3 years ago, man. But I gotta trust the power. I just think this fight comes down to the stylistics of this matchup, and I think Chaos Williams has the perfect style to knock out Andreas Gustafsson in this matchup. Moving to heavyweight, Sergey Spivak taking on Waldo Cortez Acosta. Closer line than I was expecting. Way closer. I think Spivak should be like -2 something at least. Waldo Cortez Acosta has never fought a guy with grappling like Sergey Spivak. Ever. This is a guy who robbed Jared Vanderaa. Like look at like the 5 fighters on Waldo Cortez Acosta's last 5. Marcus Rogerio de Lima, good fighter, lost. Lucas Bursky, Andrei Arlovsky, who's 50, Robelis Despain, and Ryan Spann. Look at Augusto Sakai, Derek Lewis, Cyril Gahn, Marcin Tybura, and Jailton Almeida. I feel like this is a mismatch. Am I crazy? Am I fucking insane? Wow, those 3 years older than Sergey. What the fuck? I gotta go with Spivak, dude. He's got good grappling. He's got legit submission skills. I mean, he fucking armbarred Tybura from bottom. What the fuck are we talking about? His boxing's not the best. It's all right, but it's not like Waldo Cortez Acosta is known for just completely destroying people. I mean, he couldn't land shit on Arlovsky. He beat Lucas Bursky by TKO. Awesome. Decision Robelis Despain, and he TKO'd Ryan Spann. But I'm not so far removed, you know, from his Jared Vanderaa fight. He couldn't land a shot on the feet against Jared Vanderaa, bro. I know people improve, but I really haven't seen that much improvement. He's got a great 1-2. He's got a great jab. He's got good speed. He's got decent power. But I don't know. We got to check this guy's grappling, bro. And I got to trust Sergey Spivak to go out there and do that. I don't think he's going to be a guy who's going to go out there and stand and bang. I feel like he's going to go out there, shoot a takedown, or get a trip, which I think Cortez Acosta is susceptible to the trip. That's how Sergey gets a lot of his takedowns. Gets that clinch, gets that trip. And if Waldo falls down, I don't see him getting back up. He's gonna look like a lost dog. I feel like with his back on the mat. I'm gonna go with Sergey Spivak here. I feel like he can finish this fight in any which way. I feel like he could sub Acosta or get TKO him if he hits the mat. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Sergey Spivak. A lot of people are picking submission. I'll be against the grain. I'm gonna say he gets a TKO to ground and pound over Waldo Cortez Acosta. I just think this is a little bit too much too soon. Like, you just beat Ryan Spann in his heavyweight debut. Now they're giving you a perennial top 10 guy for like the last 5 years. With a good style to beat yours. Moving up to light heavyweight, Azamat Murzakanov taking on Brinson Ribeiro. Guys, I'm going with Azamat Murzakanov. I know he's short, he's fat, he's balding. This guy is like a top 3 striker in the light heavyweight division. This guy is nasty. He's got crazy power. He's got good speed, and he's able to find big shots. Brinson Ribeiro's looked good lately. He beat Dr. Nurgoze, who's a really good fighter. I was honestly really impressed by this performance. And then beat Kyle Machado on a split decision, but this is completely different. This is a mismatch, I feel like. Brinson Ribeiro has really great power. He's very dangerous. But man, he's got a huge reach advantage. About 10 inches, or about, oh my God. Yeah, he's got a huge reach advantage. But Azamat's a guy who's used to fighting guys who utilize range. Brinson Ribeiro doesn't really utilize range. He's kind of a crash in, get inside and land big shots type of striker. But he beat Azamat beat Dustin Jacoby, who's a lot more of a ranged guy. He's a lot more measured. He's a much better kickboxer than Brinson Ribeiro is outright. I also think Jacoby's a better kickboxer, pure kickboxer, tit for tat kickboxer than Azamat Murzakanov. You saw it in the fight. But Murzakanov has the ability to land shots, and when he does land, his power hits a little bit different. So he was able to land damage on Dustin Jacoby, even though Jacoby was kind of outlanding him in the kickboxing, technically. And then he KOs Alonzo Minifield. Like he's just better than Brinson Ribeiro on the feet. I don't think Brinson Ribeiro is going to be able to get the grappling going. This is a combat sambo guy. This guy's got a little bit of grappling. I think, yeah, I think Murzakanov is just going to chin him because Brinson Ribeiro's been chinned multiple times before. I can't, like, I think he's been looking good. I think he's been leveling up, but I don't think it's enough. I think this is way too much for Brinson Ribeiro right now. I got to go with Azamat Murzakanov by KO here. I think he's too fast, too powerful, too experienced as well against high-level guys. Moving up to flyweight, Bruno Silva taking on Joshua Van. Guys, I'm going Joshua Van. Oh my God, everybody's a minus 600 favorite. Joshua Van has taken really not that much damage in his last fight. Destroyed right to Surya, whereas Bruno Silva has taken an insane amount of damage from Manel Kopp and Cody Durden over the last 10 months. He's not getting any younger. He's 35 at the lightest men's weight class, and he is smaller than Joshua Van. Joshua Van only fights people that are way bigger than him. So him getting somebody who's his size, I think he's just going to feast. I think he's a better boxer than Bruno Silva. I don't think Bruno Silva could get any grappling going on Joshua Van. But I always say this with Joshua Van. I feel like Joshua Van's a bit chinny. I feel like he's a little bit chinny. And Bruno Silva does hit very, very, very hard. And he's able to find shots even when he's down, like he did against Cody Durden. But I think more often than not, Joshua Van is going to put it on Bruno Silva. Unless Bruno Silva is able to find that one big shot and put down Joshua Van, which he can do. He can do that. But I think like 7 out of 10 times Joshua Van just schools him on the feet. And I actually think Joshua Van can get a finish here. I think Joshua Van can TKO Bruno Silva. A lot of people are picking Van by decision. I see it. But I'm going to say Joshua Van TKOs Bruno Silva. Utilizing the boxing, any takedowns will probably get stuffed because Joshua Van's got a really good hips, really good sprawl, good reactions too. He's got good eyes because he's so fucking young. I mean, he's 12 years younger. You know what I mean? Fuck, he's younger than me, dude. What was I saying? Oh yeah, he's gonna finish Bruno Silva, I think, later on in this fight because he's taken a lot of damage lately. Like he's always been a durable guy, but like he was getting his ass whipped by Cody Durden, and then he got battered by Manel Kopp. And that Manel Kopp fight, not that long ago. And he's kind of oldish for this division. I'm going with Joshua Van by TKO. I think he's too good of a boxer. Outside of Bruno Silva landing a huge shot, which he could do. I don't see it really happen. Plus, Joshua Van hasn't taken really any damage in this fight. He didn't take a lot in this fight either, so he's had some time to not really take any damage. And he's super active. He took a lot of damage against Edgar Charis, and he took a lot of damage against Charles Johnson, but we're a few months removed. God damn, this kid's active. What the fuck? He's had 4 fights in 10 months. Jesus. I'm going with Joshua Van by TKO. Opening up the main card at welterweight, guys, I'm going to end it all. Vicente Luque taking on Kevin Holland. You guys know I do not like Kevin Holland. I'm a Kevin Holland hater, but I am sharp when it comes to picking Kevin Holland fights. Guys, Holland is going to beat Luque. I think the stylistic component of this matchup is horrible for Vicente. And I hate to say it because Vicente is one of my favorite welterweights. I love the dude. Uh, all action fighter. Delivers bangers almost every single time he's in there. But he's on a downswing, man. I know he beat Thimba Garimbo, and that made me so happy. But I'm not loving this one. Because I still don't trust the Luque Chin. I don't trust him because he had a fucking brain bleed against Jeff Neal. You know, I mean, he's taken so much damage in his career. He's been in so many wars. I just worry about it. I don't think he can get the wrestling going on Kevin Holland. Gunnar Nelson couldn't get the wrestling going. Guys at welterweight seem to have a much harder time out grappling Kevin Holland. I said that in my Gunnar Nelson breakdown when I picked Kevin Holland to win. Guys have a harder time with him at welterweight. You need to be a big middleweight guy to fucking throw him around. I don't think Luke's got the wrestling for that. The striking, could Luke land a big shot? Sure, but Kevin Holland seems to have just this absolute granite chin, dude. I mean, he got dropped by Miguel Oleksiejczuk. He got dropped bad, and maybe in a situation like that, Luke could get down in his guard, and he's not going to get armbarred because Luke is pretty legit with his submission skills. Could happen. I hope it happens. I want to see Kevin Holland dead on the canvas, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Luke has been in too many wars. I don't think the chin's ever going to be the same after the Jeff Neal fight. I would love him to win, but I don't think he's going to. I think Kevin Holland's just going to be, he's too fast in the feet. He's too rangy. You know, 5-inch reach advantage. I got to go with Kevin Holland. I think he's going to TKO Vicente Luque, honestly. I think he's going to land a big shot on him and hurt him bad. I hope I'm wrong. What are people picking? No one's picking Luque. A lot of people are picking Holland by TKO. Yeah, I see it too. It's crazy that Kevin Holland's up minus 300 favorite over Vicente Luque, but I think Luque is clearly on the downswing in his career, and I think Kevin Holland's still roughly, you know, in his prime. Moving up to bantamweight, probably one of the best cards or best fights on the card. Mario Batista taking on the debuting Patchy Mix. Guys, I got a lot of opinions people might not like. I'd like Mario Bautista to lose. I would. But I don't think Patchy Mix beats him. I know people are going to freak out at that, but like Patchy Mix has good wins. You know what I mean? Kyoji Horiguchi, great win. Magomed Magomedov, good win. Rafion Stotts, you got KO'd by fucking Marab, little bro. Still a great win. I'm just giving him shit. Sergio Pettis, good win. Brutally robbed Magomed Magomedov here. Horrible robbery, but it is what it is. And he's been out for a year. Mario Bautista, you see the fight with Jose Aldo, you're pissed. But only the elite can push Jose Aldo up against the cage. Then he beats Ricky Simone. And this is kind of where I feel like Patchy Mix is going to struggle. Because Patchy Mix, he's got decent striking. So does Mario Bautista. I think Mario Bautista is a little bit better on the feet. Personally. Patchy Mix has elite jiu-jitsu. He's got nasty submissions. His guillotine is disgusting. It's despicable. He's really good at latching that up. But his wrestling, it's kind of mid. I don't think his wrestling's that good, personally. Now, is it bad? No. Is it that good? But I think Ricky Simone's a better pure wrestler than Patchy Mix. I don't think that's crazy to say. I think he's fucking stronger than Patchy Mix by a landslide. Ricky Simone couldn't get Mario Batista down. And then he beats Damon Blackshear, another guy who's really good at grappling. Who's really good. Is he Patchy Mix level in the jiu-jitsu? Probably not. Is he bad? No. Guido Canetti and Benito Lopez. These two wins I don't really care about. But he subbed these guys easy. You know what I mean? I kind of just feel like Mario Batista. Nobody's picking Batista. I feel like Batista plus 145 is value. I think the people are picking Patchy Mix because they just want to see Mario Batista lose. And I feel like the way shit like this goes, man. Guys making their debut, short-ish notice from like Bellator or like a PFL, haven't done that good. I'm being honest, they haven't looked that good. Debuting guys just haven't looked great. I'm going with Mario Batista as underdog. I think he has the wrestling defense to stop the grappling attack of Patchy Mix, at least for 3 rounds. I also think his striking's a little bit better. I think his leg kicks here will be very effective against Patchy Mix. I don't see him getting put in a guillotine. It could happen, obviously. Patchy Mix is pretty fucking high level, and he's got good wins. Really good wins. But I just have a feeling. I have a feeling he's going to struggle here. I just can't shake it. I'm going with Mario Batista as a pretty big underdog. Plus 150. I think he wins by decision, by the way. Moving up to 185, Kelvin Gastelum taking on Joe Pyfer. I did a breakdown for this one when it was originally scheduled. I'm going with Joe Pyfer. I think Kelvin Gastelum can win this fight in hindsight. I think he's got a chance. But I just think Joe Pyfer is too much right now. I think he's too physical. I think he's too big. I think he's too powerful in a 3-rounder. I don't see him getting gassed in a 3-rounder, especially when it's not at Mexico City at elevation. And Kelvin Gastelum hasn't looked good, man. He looked horrible against Andy Rodriguez. Horrible, horrible, horrible. He looked okay against Sean Brady, but he got subbed up and dominated. Like, his grappling looked okay, basically, is what I'm saying. Chris Curtis, this fight I don't count as a win because he got given this decision off of a knockdown by a headbutt that basically knocked out Chris Curtis. So I don't really love that too much. Jared Cannonier beat the shit out of him, and then Robert Whitaker beat the shit out of him. You know what I mean? And at what point does the Gastelum chin start to let him down? I think this is the point. I don't think he's getting knocked out cold, but I've seen Gastelum drop before, and his striking defense wasn't looking great against D-Rod. And a big, powerful guy like Joe Pyfer puts one on your chin early, it might sit him down a little bit. And where a guy like Jared Cannonier would probably try and follow up with ground and pound or wait for him to get up to land that KO blow, Joe Pyfer's got a good grappling game, man. If he sits him down, I would not be surprised if Joe Pyfer follows him down and tries to set him up with an arm triangle or something. That's kind of how I see this going. A lot of people are picking Pyfer by TKO. I could see it, but I'm actually going to pick Pyfer sub. I think Pyfer gets a little club and sub special here. Now, do I see a world maybe where Joe Pyfer blows the wad, isn't able to finish Kelvin Gastelum, and Kelvin starts to put it on him in like the third round? Absolutely could happen. But I think all the side of the danger and the finishing potential is all on Joe Pyfer's side. The physicality, the youth, because Kelvin Gastelum's been in war after war after war after war. And he's had a lot of injuries, Kelvin. I got to go with Joe Pyfer here. Way bigger, way stronger, way younger. He's got some decent experience against a high-level guy. He fought Jack Hermansson in a 5-rounder. Kelvin Gastelum didn't make it 5 rounds against Jack Hermansson. That's all I'm fucking saying. I'm going with Joe Pyfer. I think he can sub him. I think like a power arm triangle. Maybe after Kelvin gets stung by a shot or something. Yeah. We'll see though. I don't really like Joe Pyfer, so I wouldn't mind Kelvin Gastelum beating him. Moving up to our co-main event, Juliana Pena taking on Kayla Harrison. Guys, open and shut case. Kayla Harrison's on steroids. I'm picking her to win. Need I say more? Now, the last two women's champions were both underdogs, and I picked them to win, and they both won. This one, Juliana Pena ain't Yan. I was gonna say Yan Jianan. Holy shit, I'm racist. Oh my god, Zhang Wei Li or Valentina Shevchenko. Juliana Pena, I've never been impressed with as a fighter. She's durable. She's tough. She hangs tough. She does. And that could be what wins her this fight against Kayla Harrison because Kayla Harrison hasn't been in a 5-rounder in the UFC, and the weight cut to bantamweight's hard for her. So she could gas out in like rounds 4 and 5. She easily could and start to get battered. I could see it. It's not impossible. So I would have Kayla Harrison like minus 400, not minus 625. But I think in the first 3 rounds, I think she's live to get Juliana Pena the fuck out of there. She's got great judo. She's got great grappling. And she's not just like a positional controller. She's got good submissions as well. She can hit submissions from good positions. She can hit them from bad positions. She's got good arm bars. She's got a good rear naked choke. She's got a good arm triangle. And like if she locks in something, she's got dude arms, bro. Good luck. Good luck toughing out that choke. You know what I'm saying? I think the first 3 rounds are going to be won by Kayla Harrison. And I don't know if Juliana Pena, even if Kayla Harrison mega gasses, can get a finish in the next 2. So at worst, I think Kayla Harrison wins a decision 48-47. But I honestly think she's live to submit Juliana Pena. I think she's live to just smash her because the physicality difference I feel like is going to be apparent very quickly. Ugh. Yeah, a lot of people are kind of even split here almost. I think I'm gonna lean not Juliana Pena. She could win, but I don't think she wins. I'm going with Kayla Harrison. I think she wins this fight by submission, due to an arm triangle. That's my prediction. We'll see though. And then closing out the card with with the main event that nobody asked for, nobody wanted. Merab Dvalishvili taking on Sean O'Malley again. Now I know what you're thinking. If you're a longtime viewer of the channel, you're wondering to yourself, is he going to pick against Merab again? The answer is yes. I'm picking against Merab again. It's not because I like dislike or hate Merab or anything. I just can't help but pick against him. I don't know why. He's great. He's probably the greatest bantamweight of all time resume wise right now. He's up there. He's up there for sure. He's 1 or 2, I feel like. But something about him being a minus 300 I don't know. It's just giving me weird vibes because this guy's been an underdog in almost all of his fights. Merab. He was the underdog against Jan. He was a favorite against Cejudo. He was an underdog against O'Malley, I'm pretty sure. Then he was the underdog against Umar. Now he's a minus 300. I bet this will be the fight where he fucking chokes and loses. I don't know. I just got a feeling. And also, my thing is like, what's changed in this matchup for Merab to be minus 300 here? Because when I on a rewatch of their fight at Sphere, man, if you score that on damage, Sean O'Malley got 2 rounds. If you score that on damage, uh, it was a 48-47. So you're minus 300 now? And Sean O'Malley looked bad. He looked bad there in that matchup at Sphere. And it was an arguable 48-47 win from Rob. I think Sean O'Malley's going to look better in this matchup objectively. I'm taking him at his word as well that he was injured going into that with a bad hip. I'm taking his word for it. We'll see. But my thing is, I feel like all of this, Sean O'Malley had all of this pressure on him for that matchup. Main eventing Sphere, once in a lifetime UFC card, only going to happen once against the hardest guy he's ever fought. A lot of pressure on him, and especially if he was injured, he had to have known. He's like, fuck, my hip's no good. Right now, he has no pressure. He's a big underdog going up against the champ. Nobody thinks he's winning this one. And the last time that happened, he chinned down Jermaine Sterling. And once again, Merab also has to be. He can't make a mistake for another 25 minutes. Is my problem. And my problem is Merab Dvalishvili is not risk adverse. He takes risks. He gets in there. He'll go strike with Sean O'Malley. He'll go shoot 50 takedowns. He'll give him opportunities to finish him. And he's going to have to do it for another 25 minutes because I don't see Merab finishing O'Malley. So all of the danger, all of the variance is on the side of O'Malley, I feel like. Again, I feel like O'Malley's going to look better than he did against Merab at Sphere. I just feel like he's going to. And he's a very generous line considering that fact. Plus 240. From a betting perspective, I don't give betting advice. I don't. But he's the best underdog on this card for sure. For sure. He's got all the power. He can finish you with all 8 limbs, basically. He can go 5 rounds hard. He already went 5 rounds hard with Merab, and he almost fucking finished him in the 5th round. You know what I mean? He had him hurt in the 5th round. The more I think about this fight, the more I feel like Sean O'Malley is going to look better. And I don't know if Merab's going to be able to have a better performance than that. I feel like that was best case scenario for Merab, and I feel like that was worst case for Sean. And now Merab's minus 300 and Sean's plus 250. I just can't shake the feeling that Sean O'Malley's going to catch him with a shot and hurt him this time, but it's going to be on the chin. And if Sean O'Malley hurts your chin, he's really good at putting you down, unless you're Peter Yan. Peter Yan's been the only guy who's really gotten hit hard by Sean O'Malley, and I guess Cheeto Vera too, but Cheeto Vera is unfinishable, so I don't count him. He's been the only guy who's been able to really take that big shot from O'Malley and then deliver it right back and not get finished. I don't think Merab can take that big shot and then not get finished. I don't know. Like, and I've seen Merab dropped and hurt so many times. The fact that he hasn't been caught on the feet with Sean O'Malley, like, he's got to get caught once on the chin on the feet by Sean O'Malley in 50 minutes of fighting. He has to. Right? It's not that crazy, right? And I got to go with Sean O'Malley. I'm picking Sean O'Malley. I think he chins Merab. Is anybody picking O'Malley? 23%. Majority by TKO. I think he's just too much of a sniper, dude. I feel like he's going to look better this fight, I hope. I don't think he's going to get finished. I think he's going to have another half an hour, basically, to find a shot on Merab's chin. I think he can do it this time. No pressure on him, really. I'm going with O'Malley again. I'm going to look like an idiot again. I know I'm going to look like a big fucking dumb idiot again, but I'm picking O'Malley. But yeah, that's UFC 316, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully there's audio for this fucking recording. Subscribe if you're new. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.